This interview is being brought to you by BabyFightGear.com. Baby Fight Gear is dedicated to providing a single source for children's mixed martial arts. Inspired Clothing, the softer side of tough sports. Our clothing is available in sizes newborn to toddler. There's a lot of rumors out there right now that Cris Cyborg will be coming back shortly. What do you think about her return and return to 135 for her?
Man, I didn't even hear about that. Is that what's stated, that she's going to go to 35?
Yeah, Scott Coker hinted at it. That once she returns, return to 135 would be most likely.
Man, I know Cyborg personally. She's awesome. She's awesome. She's an awesome female fighter, and she's an awesome person. I love watching her fight, and hanging out with her. They're good people. She's a good person. But she made a mistake. Whatever, things happen. People make mistakes in life. It was really unfortunate. But she still works hard, and she still was one of the top fighters in the world, regardless of whatever she got caught with. I still think she's an amazing athlete, an amazing person. So I'm excited to see her return. And man, if she's dropping to 135, that's going to be scary, because funny story is I was hanging out in Hawaii, and I was hanging out with her. She's sitting at our table, and I just kept telling Misha, man, look how huge she is. Holy shit, man, look at her. I was trying to compare my biceps to her, and kind of trying to slide over a little bit, and then I'm like, dude, she's way bigger than me. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, holy snap, she fights in the same weight class as me. We're both featherweight. She fights at 145. I'm like, oh my gosh. And Evangelista was making fun of me. He said, hey, how much do you weigh? And I was like, I'll probably 165 right now. I fight at 45, good 20 pounds. And he looks at Cyborg and he grabs his biceps and he says, 173. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude. I was 173 pounds. I don't know, maybe some of that, size was because of the banned substance, and maybe when she gets off, she'll drop a lot of weight. But, the way her body type is, before she got caught, I just don't see any way of her making 135. I mean, she was sucked up at 145. I mean, I was at weigh-ins. I've seen her cutting weight in the sauna. She was not doing well cutting to 45. So, if she makes 35, I'm going to be super shocked, or I'm just going to, basically tip that off to without the banned substance, her body's going to shrink up a little bit. But, that could definitely be interesting, throwing Cyborg down at 135. We'll see how, if she makes 35, how her weight cut went, and, if her body ends up being a lot smaller because of, not having different substances, then I'm interested to see how her fighting style is without having all that muscle mass and that explosion and that extra raw strength. I really believe that when people's body types change drastically, the physiology of their gas tank and just everything, their whole style changes. The way they move, the proprioception, their body dynamics change, and it can make for a totally different fighter. There's guys who went up weight and did worse, guys who dropped weight and did worse. So it could be really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when Cyborg and Gina Carano were in Elite XC, I think they were having trouble making 135. That's why Strikeforce did the 145-pound division. So I think she's had trouble with 135 in the past.
Yeah, exactly. I just, with her body type and the muscle mass she had, I just don't see her making 135 unless she unhealthily diets and loses muscle mass, because at 145 she's absolutely shredded. I mean, you look at her weigh-in picture, she's ripped. She doesn't have fat at all.
Yeah.
She's absolutely shredded. Her shoulders are striated. She's very lean at that weight. I just don't see her making that unless she got off substances and she loses a lot of muscle mass. I just don't see that.
Yeah, well, if Rousey wins this fight and Cyborg can cut the weight, that's going to be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, I would love to see that matchup. Cyborg, obviously, everybody knows a killer on the feet. But Cyborg, nobody's been able to get Cyborg down really too much. I mean, for a very long time, if anything, or be on top very much. So, I would, suspect, Cyborg's grappling could still be suspect if somebody is able to put her on her back and keep her down there for, a decent amount of time, keep her on her back for a minute or whatever, who knows what's going to happen with that. She might not be, as well-rounded as everybody thinks. So that can definitely be really interesting to see that matchup. If, obviously Ronda's amazing at what she does. She's amazing at getting people down, and she has awesome grappling. So that definitely could be, I think it would be, possibly could be a one-sided fight for either one. It could be one-sided, just Cyborg destroying her on her feet, or Ronda could get her down early, and it could be, one-sided for Ronda. So I really feel that fight could be it's going to be one-sided for one or the other person.